Flow ya kuluto ipoles bete. Fana push it to pull at mente. Presidential sa flow Monday. One man down. Saka tick down. Skinny clapping and shot it down. No one know that we run this town. Then this push and just pull him up in us. Juju black no fucking matimas.
Hello. Welcome to our very first episode of Times Talk podcast. My name is Nombuso Dlamini from the entertainment department. For our very first episode, we have the sensational award-winning Afrobeats and hip hop sensation, Lyrikal Busta. Busta, how are you?
Greetings, Nombuso. How are you? I'm really excited
you.
and honored to be the first guest of Times Talk podcast.
Yes. So before I give the viewers the rundown, please introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Who are you to people who may know you and who may not know you?
So Lyrikal Busta is a 6-time award-winning artist from Eswatini, born and bred in Babane. I guess that's just about it. You already said that I'm a hip-hop Afrobeat artist, you know. So for those who might be curious, my real name is Tandore Tumanzemvula Masu.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you spoke about you being an Afrobeat and hip hop musician.
Yeah.
Which one is your first baby?
My first baby is obviously hip hop because I think when I started everything, I was mostly influenced by hip hop.
Okay.
Afrobeat is a later on thing when I started, getting familiar with the music space and trying to experiment new sounds.
Okay.
I think that's when I started falling in love with Afrobeat.
Okay. So how long have you been in the music space?
As long as I can remember. But I could safely say, as a recording artist, that this is my 10th year actually.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. I'm even planning on working on a one-man show just to celebrate that. If everything goes according to how I want it to be, I'd really be excited to curate something like that just for everyone who has been there and everyone who has experienced the journey till this far. Yeah.
So speaking about the journey, how has it been so far? Have you gotten any support? Or it's been rough? How's it been till now?
Till now, I could say that it is more of a thing where you can always see the end of the tunnel, and last year is better than the last one. It's just about creating a solid brand that you can in turn create a sustainable income with. So I think it's just all about creating a sustainable brand that also attract also the corporate world to come and invest in it. But I would say that it has been rough. There's been those rough moments and there's also been those moments that are inspiring. So I wouldn't say it was rough because in everything, either it goes left or right, I always want to take a lesson from it. So I wouldn't say really it was that rough. I would just say it's part of the journey and we've just been walking this journey. Yeah.
You spoke about income.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you make sufficient money from the craft that you do in Eswatini?
From the craft that I do. Since you asked about me personally, I think it's quite a known fact that the art sector in our kingdom is not as sustainable as one might want it to be. Not only probably my field, which is music. I think everything that has to do with talent, as compared to other countries, we were a bit behind, And it's just not an issue where I'd want to point fingers, say it's the audience or the artist or stakeholders involved. But I would say that when it comes to talent-driven careers, we are as a country really railing behind as compared to other countries that have been able to create a sustainable industry and have been able to also create a sustainable industry that also benefits even the economy, because we have seen that with music alone we can really also bring something to the table. We just came back from Bushfire. I'm sure you saw how many people had stores there and how really focusing on our industry could not only help artists, but if I host a show, there's obviously people that are bouncers, security, someone is selling food there, you know. So it allows us to also add in the ecosystem and sort of like add what we can economically. Yeah.
So speaking about Bushfire, one of the biggest events in the country, seventh biggest in the world. So how did it feel performing main stage for over 20,000 people?
Yeah, I would say that for me, it's a dream come true, you know. When we started this, I would say that we never really thought that we would take it this far. So to actually live to see everything that we have been manifesting over the years come to life is definitely an inspiration, and I hope that it is, and I hope that other artists can take something from that story, that it really does not matter where you are, where you come from, as long as you do what you do and you give it your all. Someone out there is watching, and they will someone out there will be able to also come through for you. So I think that moment is just that moment for me, that in whatever you do, don't give up, just press on, pray hard, and do what you gotta do.
So on that stage, you were with Young Zesh.
Yeah, true.
Did you guys reunite on or before for that performance? How was that? Give us the rundown. On how everything came to life, preparing. Yes.
Obviously, when we started the rehearsals with everything that was happening, I'm sure you've been following. I don't know if that's something I should be speaking about. I'd prefer not to. But actually, I would say that I think we all came through with the mindset that at the end of the day, we might have all the differences that we have, but we should just focus on the common ground that we have, which is the love that we both have for music, the passion that we both have. So I think it's just a moment where we chose to focus on what we have in common rather than focusing on what we disagree on. And I think that went perfectly fine, because from the moment we stepped in the rehearsal room, we clicked, because obviously I think we've spent so much time together, so that was bound to happen. Yeah, so I'd say that as soon as we went on stage, we were fine. Really, we had managed to find common ground and put whatever differences we have behind us and just focus on fulfilling such a big task, which was going on that main stage and representing Eswatini to the fullest. So yeah, that's how it went.
And then after, it was all done.
After that, it was all done. We're in talking terms. Hopefully we'll have something in the future for our fans, but there's really no bad blood, you know. It's really just focusing on the bigger picture, which is taking Eswatini music to the world. Yeah.
I remember, I think last year you had quite an interesting run. You had so many collaborations in South Africa. Please take us through that. Who were you collaborating with? How did it come about? Did it benefit you significantly as compared to collaborations you did in Eswatini?
I would say that it really massively benefited me. Maybe to just feeling those people at home. I was actually featured on a song by Ntabase Dubai called 365 Days, which is like currently over 500,000 views, and that's something, you know. And it really benefited me because even as far as my streams, I could see my Spotify monthly listeners growing, and most importantly, having the chance to also break into a new market, you know. I'm sure you know that Eswatini, our population is like over 1 million. Slightly over 1 million.
Put me on the spotlight.
Right? And slightly over 1 million. And you know, it's quite a pity that we are competing with people that hit 1 million views in a day. And realistically, do you know what that means? It means that in Eswatini, to do that, is really impossible, because remember, in the million people, there's still babies.
Yeah.
There's still people that listen to gospel, that don't even listen to what you make.
Yeah.
There's still people that don't even have access to streaming platforms. So literally, it's really important to sort of like spread your wings and try to appeal, especially in new markets as well. I think that's what we did. We also featured on Luan Tlongkulu's music video, and we dropped a project where we featured seasoned South African rappers Zakwe and Anzo. So I think all those collaborations are just in line with our main motto, which is taking Eswatini music to the world. I believe that we could achieve that very easy with collaboration. Yeah, so I would say that it really benefited me, to answer your question.
Okay. So after the blow up, a lot of people, especially on social media, had doubts about the label you're under.
Yeah.
But hearing what you're saying right now about the collaborations, I think your statement begs to differ. I don't know if you still feel like, you know what, if I wasn't under this label, none of this would have happened, or some of these deals happen through your own connections.
Yeah. I would say really in how I work, there's no own, dog. Sorry for that context though. There's really no own. It's a we thing. It's never about me. The moment I start saying me, I'm separating what the vision is about. And this whole thing that we do is quite spiritual, and it really works with us being in the same frequency. Us really moving as one rather than moving individually. I don't know how familiar you are with soccer, but in soccer, maybe to just like make an example, there's a number 9, his job is to score. There's a number 6, his job is to pass the person so that he scores. There's a number 5, his job is to defend. So it's all about just holding your position. But when we move as a team. So I can't really answer that question to say this was done by who individually. Either I do it or someone else does it. But we move as a team, and that's how we move.
Okay.
And I think the credit does not belong to me, but all of us. Yeah.
So are there any collaborations in the pipeline right now?
Yeah, we're currently in studio. We're working on an album, Those that know, they really know that we really like releasing in form of projects rather than singles. So that's what we're currently doing right now. I hope I'll also get the opportunity to come back and properly review everything, who we're featuring, the number of songs and everything. But yeah, we're in studio working very hard, and people should expect music, and good music as always.
So no sneak peek into who you are working with?
No, people should follow us. You would appreciate that follow. In due time, we're going to do the right thing. But yeah, no sneak peek, unfortunately.
Okay. So when we started speaking, you spoke about what you want to spread, what you want to influence people behind you when you spoke about Bushfire. Through your music, who are you speaking to? And what are you saying to them?
Well, through my music, I always find it hard to answer that question, because how I see my music, I normally see it as a sort of like a personal diary. I'm really inspired to write stuff that I'm going through, but there's an exception to that, because I could also draw inspiration from your story, or probably his story, or anyone's story, But I really like to speak to a young African child, especially one who's in a situation where he's been told so much that you can't do this. No one has done this where you're from. I really want to speak to that person and say that there's really nothing that's impossible.
Yeah.
As long as you put your heart, your mind to it, and you pray about it, it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's a wrap from us, from Times Talk Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Lyrical, do you have any last words for our viewers?
I'd just like to say thanks to you, thanks to the team, thanks to Times for such an initiative, Times Talk Podcast, and I'd like to, emphasize that, make sure you follow us, guys. Lyrikal Busta across all platforms. And you know what it is. Thank you.
All
That's
right.
all.
Thank you so much.